Okay, all right. So this question, the first one, a rectangle is inscribed in a circle such that such that each vertex of rectangle lies on the circumference of the circle. The diagonal, the diagonal of the rectangle is twice the length of the shortest side of the rectangle. The area of the rectangle is 1089 root 3 square units. What is the length in units of the diameter of the circle? So this question now, the best approach is to be looking at it and be picking out the information that has been given to us. The first information that was given there is that the circle, sorry, a rectangle is inscribed in a circle. So if we start by sketching the circle, if this is the circle, such that each vertex of the rectangle lies on the circumference of the circle. So each vertex lies at the circumference of the circle. Then the diagonal of the rectangle is twice the length of the shortest side of the rectangle. Now, this is the shortest side of the rectangle. So this is the diagonal of this rectangle now. That's the diagonal. And this diagonal, they say that it is twice the length of the shortest side. The shorter side of the rectangle now is, if here is, let me say A. That is A. So here is going to be 2A. It's twice that. So now the area of the rectangle is 1089 root 3. The area of this rectangle is area of rectangle is equal to 1089 then root 3. That's the area of the rectangle. So you say, what is the length of the diameter of the circle? What is the length? So now we don't really, or we can't really ascertain that the line we labeled 2A is the diameter, but we have to, from the information given to us, if you look at here, now this is a rectangle, so this is 90 degrees. If here is 90 degrees, here is A, here is 2A. When we bring out a right angle triangle, remember, there is a relationship between hypotenuse, the opposite, and the adjacent. If here is 90, if I am told that here is 2, and I'm told that here is 1, definitely here is going to be root 3. So if I multiply everything with x, now here, or with A, now here is A. Here is A, that is 1A. That here is root 3A, or A root 3. You see it? So we can say that this triangle that we have drawn here now can satisfy. So we can label here now to be A root 3. So there can be A root 3. So if that is the case, that means that we can equally say that this angle now obeys the 60, 30, 90 rectangle. Sorry, right angle triangle. Here is 60 with what we have labeled. So here is 30. Here is 30. So with that, you now notice that we can solve for A. We can solve for A. And if if what we have said so far is true, it simply means that this rectangle with the deductions we have made, this rectangle, if its diagonal is also the diameter of that circle, because if the angle at the circumference is 90, if the angle at the circumference is 90, and now we are now, from the information given to us, we now say here is 60, here is 30. That means that this is just a triangle, a perfect triangle in a semicircle. The other side of it is also a perfect triangle in a semicircle. So that means that this diagonal, let me label it AB. AB, that diagonal AB of that rectangle is equally the diameter of that circle. So that's where we will start to resolve that problem. So from here now, remember that they said that the area is this. So the area of the rectangle is simply x length, this length times breadth. That is the a times a root 3. A times a root 3. That is the area. And they say that is equal to 1089. 1089 root 3. So from here now, a squared root 3 is going to be equal to 1089 root 3. So this root 3 and this root 3 can easily go. So therefore, a squared. Therefore, a squared is... Sorry?
The other A.
Which other a?
It say 8 times A root 3.
A times a root 3 now. So a times a is a squared. Then you have root 3. Should be equal to 1089 root 3. Now, from here, a squared is now going to be equal to 1089, which means that a, if you take the square root of both sides, square root of a squared is equal to square root of 1089. Therefore, a is going to be equal to square root of 1089 is going to give us, I think it's going to give us 33. It's going to give us 33. So if that is the case, we have gotten our a to be 33. Then the diameter, which is the question they asked, therefore the diameter, which we have confirmed, that is equal to the diagonal of that rectangle, is now going to be equal to 2a. And this is going to be equal to 2 times 33. And that's going to give us, 2 times 33 is going to give us what? 66. 66 as the answer. And that's the correct answer. So we should find that in what is the length in units of the diameter of the circle. So the length is going to be equal to 66 units. So this is going to be equal to 66 units. And that's the correct answer. 66 units, that's the correct answer. So